blessing of the Torah.
Baruch atah Yahweh, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bakar banu mikol ha'amim, ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Yahweh, notei haTorah. Amen.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, our power, King of the universe, who has chosen us from amongst all people by giving us your Torah. Blessed are you, Yahweh, giver of the Torah. Amen.
Shalom, shalom to the remnant, to the call, to the elect, to those that are near or far, that hear the voice of Yahweh, that hear the call of Yahweh. 144 times 1,000 pure hearts, sealed in the name of Yahweh. Salamu alaikum, shalom alaikum to you. This is Sibaya coming with an important message once again, and it's a message of, it's a salvific message. It's a salvific message. First, giving all honor and all glory, all esteem to Yahweh El Elyon, the Most High Power, Yahweh, the Most High Power, our Father in heaven, and giving all praises to Yahushua, his son, our high priest, after the order of Melchizedek, the King of righteousness forever and ever, sitting at the right hand of Yahweh, that is, with him, and sitting at the holies of holies, giving a daily sacrifice for us as we give our daily sacrifice towards him. And to the Malik Yahweh, translated as the angel of Yahweh, also known as the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodosh. Holy, holy, holy to the three of them, Achad, for Yahweh is a unity. Hallelujah. All right. So now he does a part 2 to this, round 2, and he puts out a second disclaimer. I'm gonna just play the disclaimer because he put out a first disclaimer that he's not trying to start a fight with us that believe in Yahweh or start anything or put us down. That's our brothers that have recognized and worshiped Yahweh for hundreds of years. He's not trying to start a fight with us or anything like that. He just wants to go in to the language that is our ancient father and mess it up a little bit. And he wants to go in and read you half things wrongly and then tell you why he thinks it is Yahuwah and not Yahweh, and he ain't gonna get a fight. Am I fighting right now? Yeah, what am I fighting against? A lie. Ignorance. I'm fighting against his lies and your ignorance. And I say that sincerely because anyone that's believing anything he just said, you can only believe that through utter ignorance. That means you don't know any better than what he's telling you. But but some of this is stupidity, because we have bad listening skills, or we don't question what we're listening to. But I showed you in the beginning that what he read is not what he said, and that what he read is not what it's saying, or what he said is not what, if that makes any sense. That he's lying to you right in front of your face, right? So some of this is idol worship. Idol worship. And that's why I do 8-hour, 10-hour, 4-hour, 5-hour videos, because this is, nobody hears, well, the ones that were out, they may have worshiped the amount of knowledge that I had, but there's no need to worship me for knowledge if I'm giving it to you. And I want you to have it just like me. I've held nothing back that I'm commanded for you to know for your salvation, and even more, right? Do I play tricks? Do I cut up stuff and like paste and like hide stuff so you can't read it all? I don't do that, nor do I do it with y'all. So my fight, that's right, he picked a fight with a lie against the truth. And we're talking about Yah's holy name and his holy language. Right? You want to talk about a unity, but you cannot be a nation unless you have a language, an Elohim you serve. They say a land, but I say in spirit, we're one land. We can never be a unity if we're speaking no language. apart together. We can never be a unity and a nation if we're worshiping different names. Just don't make no sense. And so these are agents sent here to actually create the separation. This is what it looks like when Yah said, I'm going to cause a division. Satan is doing it, but Yahushua is doing it because us that walk in truth and not lies, us that walk with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding would never lock hands with ignorance and liars and deceivers. If you are ignorant, then there's space for your ignorance. But in your ignorance, it's just like Yah said, the blood of the lamb covers sins for ignorance. But when you find out, that means you have to be humble about not knowing what you don't know. But if you're going to come with your ignorance, your high-minded ignorance, then you going to hell too for the ignorance. Okay. Round two. So he gives a disclaimer.
I'm going to read my disclaimer up front. Okay, I want to go over the name of the Father and the Son. This by no means is an exhaustive study, but has a lot of information and research to help with a bigger picture of why we use Yahuwah versus Yahuah. Like, some people use it this way.
Nobody says Yahuah. Nobody.
Or some people use Yahuwah, as they would say it. Some say it that way. How about and Yahweh. Let me see. Does anyone know any other Yahweh? Am I leaving anything else out? Yahuah? Okay, yeah. 4 letters. They would say Yod, Hey, Yod, Hey, U. Okay. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff. All right. So I am going to give a lot of grammar rules and grammar stuff that talks about this. At the end, I'm going to put it in layman terms, meaning for those that couldn't follow all of this grammar and how this grammar applies, if you didn't get it as I go through it, at the end, I'm going to make it super plain. Okay. So we can understand all of what I said, that it was read according to some writings. I'm going to make it plain in English. That way you don't have to worry about being some scholar or something like that. You can't figure it out or you got lost. I'm going to read my disclaimer up front.
So basically he said, I'm going to confuse you with a bunch of big scholarly words. Like I said, Gesenius is not something you can read if you don't have some foundation in Hebrew, right? Even Gesenius is hard for me to read. And right? But because I'm inside the language and he gives examples, I can figure out what he's talking about, right? I can explain it to you. And what I'm not going to do is that just I'm gonna dismiss what he said and give you something totally different. That's what he's planning on, to confuse you with something that you can't follow. That's what he just did the first hour, right? Now he's going to do it to you again, and then at the end he's just going to simplify it for you, and just so you don't have to go to a scholar. And he just told you to go back and check him, right? But now he's telling you don't, so you don't have to go and do the scholarly work yourself. I'm gonna do it for you. If that ain't the devil, no, he should be able to get you to understand what you're reading. Like, I'm reading stuff that's above my vocabulary too sometimes, right? I'll be like, somebody look that up. What that mean? I know what it should mean, but let's make sure, right? So we can all understand together. That's ignorance. That's somebody that wants you to stay in ignorance, right? All right, moving forward. Oh, is he doing sources now? Where are we? What's going on?
In Chaldee, is Hebrew grammar. The other one is a grammar of upstairs, but Gesenius Hebrew grammar. The other one is a grammar of biblical Hebrew by C.L. Seal. Number 3, analytical Hebrew in Chaldee. Other one is the Brown Drivers Briggs. And of course, the good old famous Strong's Concordance. Okay? I think everyone named brother has one of those. All right, so we have those 5 resources that we're using. So basically, the reason why I'm using these, now I'm not telling you I agree with everything that they say, because there are some things in there that they say that does not agree with certain other things that we're going to talk about today. So you're going to see that as well. But some things I do agree with, and we're going to share those things today. All right. So, question for you all: what?
All right. So we're gonna fact check. We're gonna use Gesenius today, and there's other things that he's gonna quote in this that I'm gonna do in another. We're almost done. I'm not quite done here. I won't go finish what he's going through, right? So what I wanted to show you as basic rules, right? Ayin chet hey at the end of the word. If you was to break down, somebody was to break down Gesenius teacher or any Hebrew grammar book, this is basically what they're gonna break down about the ayin, the chet, the hey, right? The ayin ends as a ah, following another vowel sounds. And then and if you read all of the grammar, it's gonna basically say with exceptions determined by the grammar of the word, right? If you look up the rules of chet at the end as an ah, following a vowel sound, right? With exceptions determined by the grammar of the word. All of what that's why I say we're gonna do certain things, I don't agree with something, right? He don't want to agree with the exceptions. How there's exceptions to a rule in this situation, or when it's behind this, or when it's a verb, or when it's a noun. He doesn't want to really look at the full grammar. He just wants to pick out one rule and stick it to you, right? And so far, he never quoted any rule. Right? Hey mostly never ends as an ah following another vowel, with exceptions based on the grammar, etc. Eh or ah attached to a consonant. So that's big with the hey sound, eh or ah, right? Depending on if it's masculine or feminine, that depends on what the what tense is in. If it's in present tense, all of the verbs are going to have an eh and an ah sound to it. If it's a noun, it's either feminine or masculine. It determines, right? So if it's something that you want to make plural, that determines a lot of stuff. You can't make no rule for hey like that. You can't make one rule for hey, right? And that's the point. That's what you're going to get in grammar. So it's best just to learn the language and stop playing with grammar before you know the language. Right? Learn the language and you learn the grammar as you learn the language. You don't learn grammar before you learn a language. All right. So I gave you the same things before as in la nuach, right? From the root word nawak, noon, wa, chet. It's in the root, right? Nuach. That's the root. Ach. Usually it's going to be an ach, right? Or Noach, or Noach, right here. Both of them says the same thing, with the vav or without the vav, right? And lehariach is coming from the word to sense or to smell, and it comes from the root resh, yod, and chet. So because this is part of it, things drop. You got to learn the rules of this building. This is in a different building. I believe this is Heath Owl. Is this Heath Owl? This is Heath Owl, right? So this is not in the same building as this word, right? Hareach, right? Or ruach is examples of this word being broken down and how rules change. But this is not the rule for hey. That's what he's trying to make this. He's trying to make the rule for hey the same as chet, and it doesn't work that way. All right. And so more words with chet: lishmoach, lishkoach, liftoach, koach, memelach. Right. That is a common rule for the word chet. You are not going to see hey words that end with hey like that. It's not true. Chet, I'm sorry. You are not going to see words that, I know what I said. You're not going to see words that end with hey in like that, as in, let's say that was a hey. Lishmoah. Oh, that sounds like a real word, right? It's not with a hey, that's with an ayin. When you get an ayin, it's the same, it almost follows the same root. Ayin, but not hey. Lishkoah. No. Right? Liptoah. No, you will never see a word with hey at the end do that the way a chet or ayin works. All right, matrix lesiones. I'm going to tell you right now that 99.99% of what he's saying I agree with. It's probably one word that I think is deceptive, but it don't matter. I'm going to correct it anyway, right? So now he wants to take you to matrix lesiones. By teaching you the truth about matrix lesiones, and the fact that the Shemitic Phoenician language and Hebrew is Abjad's is actually the end of his whole argument, right? So let's understand what matrix lesiones is.
All right, so let me give you a little bit of background here. It's a variation from Hebrew and Phoenician. Everyone know what Phoenician is? Phoenician, Paleo, Phoenician. It's supposed to be older. That's where the Hebrew comes from, so to speak. Everyone's familiar with that? All right. Well,
No. Wait a minute. I already told you I'm gonna deal with that. Y'all better stop with this. So once again, they're ones that was pushing the Paleo Hebrew, and they ran with it. Where did they get it from? The white Hebrew roots movement. It was a money-making machine to act like we had a ministry to teach people Hebrew. You know, there's no such thing as the ancient Paleo Hebrew language. And we're gonna prove that once again, but please look it up. You're not gonna find one scholar on this earth that will say anything different. All you're gonna find is nigger brews saying that. All right. And you see how he skirted through that, right?
All right, so let me give you a little bit of background here. It's a variation from Hebrew and Phoenician. Everyone know what Phoenician is? Phoenician, Paleo, Phoenician. It's supposed to be older. That's where the Hebrew comes from, so to speak.
The Hebrew what?
All right.
The Hebrew
well,
writing.
I'm going to read about a little bit of history so you guys can catch up to speed just in case you don't. Okay, orthography and inflection are the most invariable omission of the vowel system we talk about. Like, for example, like on a Moabite stone or on an inscription I'll have like this here.
Now, mind you, he used the word orthography. That means the writing, not the sound.
All right, what does that say? You know, if you look at this, you have to say what? You say bat, right? But, right. So we'll say this was bat, right? Let's just look at it this way. And say the same thing. Everyone agrees? All right. One's Paleo, one's modern Hebrew, right? Question. This right here, when you look at this here, could you tell me what this means solely by itself or not? Literally a bot, if I think about this in modern terms, that must mean daughter right there, right? Bot is daughter. All right, but someone else that's a little learned may say, not necessarily, it depends on the context of the word. So what else could this mean? Well, in some of these ancient stones, it was missing something. It was missing, like in one of the stones, it was missing the. Now, what does that say? Huh? Okay, now it means house. You see the difference? So what they started learning in ancient times when these linguists were trying to figure out how they do their grammar system, they realized that the yod, which we're going to read later on, they figured out that the yod, the u, and the hey, okay, were actually utilized as vowels.
Okay, now he just read about Phoenician, right? Phoenician is the Canaanite language. Hebrew is Hebrew. The Phoenician use the Paleo-Hebrew text, and we use the Paleo-Hebrew text. The language might be close, but on their stones, what they're saying is not what we're saying in Hebrew. All right? I just want y'all to know that. We don't speak Phoenician, and the ancient Hebrew is not Phoenician. That's Canaanite language.
Okay. Later on, they might add the, there's one more, the aleph, but I'm not add ayin to the aleph. And then later on, they say they might have added the ayin. Okay? Want to add anything?
Based upon the demonstration that you just gave, they could have left some lessons out like the yod, and it still have the same meaning in the ancient, versus like with the yod in the modern, it totally changes the word or the context of.
Right. So that's why it's very, very, we really have to home in on what it says in context and not solely one word and say we got it based off that one word. You see, that's why I'll give you that example. But we got to see now that there was a vowel pointing system before the Masoretic text. For the most part, it's right here, and in some cases right here. But for the most part, this was it. All right, this was the actual vowel pointing system.
The Masoretic text vowel pointing system was the Nikudot, the dots. And they did not deny the matrix lesiones, right? They didn't deny that. They just know that because the language was lost in the sense that the common people didn't speak it anymore, and it was only preserved through what they call the scribes in the holy ceremonies, that they had to preserve the proper pronunciation, because if you don't know the language, then you cannot bring the word into proper context. You're only just reading phonics, right? That's how people can teach you Hebrew or Paleo Hebrew in 1 week, and you don't know a damn thing you're saying. No, they can't teach you Paleo Hebrew at all. they can teach you Paleo Hebrew in 0 seconds. They can't teach you Paleo Hebrew at all, but I'm talking about they can teach you to recognize the lettering and the sounds, right? But once again, if you don't know the language and you don't know the rules of how certain vowels or certain consonant vowels are used when they're used as vowels versus used as consonants, you cannot know that unless you know the language or you learn the language and the grammar first. So this is training wheels, and all of us that have been, and he's been to Israel by now, he knows this, right? He knows this. That's if you go to Israel right now and you come to Israel, you will not see the Nikudot on signs at all. You won't see it on the grocery. You won't see it on the back of packages or anything. You won't get it in the mail. I will not see it on my certifications. You will not see Nikudot on any official anything, because inside the land you already have been trained in the language to recognize the word and the context of the sentence that the word may very well be used in. Okay.
And they call this, if you want to look this up someday,
look it up someday.
That's the name that you'll look it up under. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Basically, it just means language of, or mother language. Okay.
No, don't.
Everyone understands that so far? Yeah.
Can you pronounce it for me, please?
Metris Lexinus. Okay.
Let's see on this.
So they had a name for it, and they're saying during, some will give it to the 10th century, but 8th century, this was a form of a vowel pointing system that they utilized, and they call these long vowels. Long vowels. Okay? Now, we're going to see why this is so important.
That's what I disagree with. They did not call it long vowels. We're going to read what Matrix Lexionis is, not long vowels. They didn't, it was already a part of the language. It's already the part of the grammar of Hebrew. That's why you didn't see dots.
Because this is in the Father's name, this is in the Father's name, this is in the Father's name, right? So now we have to figure out how did they utilize that system, all right?
The Father name would be all vowels, if you look at it from an ancient perspective.
Right, but we're going to see that they actually have some rules.
Oh, now they got rules. So the guy, this is the same guy that was in the other class, right? He just said, well, according to what you said, the ancient perspective is that they was all vowels. They were never used as consonants, right? They were all vowels. That's what he read. That's what he tried to say Gesenius said. That's not what Gesenius said, but that's what he was implying to imply the yod, hey, ooh, hey. So now the guy is coming back. It's probably the next day because I got this all in one video, or at least 2 videos back to back. This is the same guy that's in the other lecture. He's saying, so based upon what you're teaching us, the ancient Hebrew, it would be all vowels. And then he just said, well, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. There's rules to this. Wait a minute. You see what I'm saying? Right? He used that as the basic rule to try to prove away or wah away that Gesenius never said. Now he's applying, now the guy applied the rule to everything else. And I said, well, that would, yeah, it would mean that Yahweh's name is pronounced Yahuah. Yahuah. Ooh, that's why I said ooh, wah wah ding ding, right? Ooh, wah wah ding ding. That like man, bang bang, ding ding, whatever. Like
For how to
now we got rules.
view these as vowels. In other words, they're for all intents and purposes, they're consonants, but they operate as vowels in certain areas of the word. Okay, so that's why you always hear they're all consonants. They kept it a consonant. You know, they didn't have any vowels, but we're going to see how they did utilize this as vowels as we keep going.
Basically, they were smart people.
They were pretty. Yeah, they were pretty smart.
Advanced.
Yeah, it was their language.
Fine.
Here it is. We're English, and we're trying to put our spin on
There.
how it should be done.
Exactly. So you see the contradiction, hypocrisy in his own teachings, right? Now he says there's rules. Now he's saying that they were actually consonants, but applied in the understanding the rules, you'll know when they are vowels. Yeah, he was like, oh yeah. All of us that know, we know, right? Didn't explain nothing. We know it ain't Yahweh. They just put that there, right? How? No, they don't know. How do you know? Right? What rules do you have to promote that? Right? All right. So since he don't want to look it up for you, I'm gonna look it up for you, right? Matrius Lectionis does not mean mother language. In the spelling of Hebrew and some other Shemitic languages, so it's not just Hebrew. This is what I was just trying to show you when he talking about the Abjad Shemitic languages, all have this, right? English, Matrius Lectionis, from Latin, mother of reading, singular form, Mater Lectionis. Hebrew, hold on. Im Kareya, it means the mother of calling, how you call it out, refers to the use of certain consonants to indicate a vowel. The letters that do this is in Hebrew are Aleph, He, Wa, or Va, Yod or Yud. The Yod and Wa in particular are more often vowels than they are consonants. I would agree with that because it's all through, like, how do I say, conjugating. Those are some of the main ones they use for conjugating, right? In Aramaic, the matrix Lectionis, though they are much less often referred to thus, are Aleph, Wa, and Ya. The matrix Lectionis correspond closely to what is called in modern linguistics, glides and or semi-vowels. So glides, how would I describe glides? Words that stretch out how do I describe glide? Look up glides and semi-vowels. A semi-vowel would be a Y and a W in English, right? Well, we talk about semi-vowels, that means there's a half vowel and a half something else sound. If it's not a vowel, then it's a half what? Vowel and a half consonant. But it did not say long vowels. That's what he said, right? It does not say long vowels. The reason why he wants us to say a long vowel, because I believe that ooh is a long vowel. But no, that's not a semi-vowel. Anybody looking up glides?
Yes.
A sound.
That is phonetically similar to a vowel sound, but functions as a syllable boundary.
Okay.
And as the nucleus of a syllable.
Can you say that again?
Okay. Is it a sound?
Give it to me. I only can remember, I'm not that smart. I can only remember 4 words at a time. That's why I'm slow. 8-hour video. Okay. A glide, right? Linguistic glides is a sound that is phonetically similar to a vowel sound, but functions as a syllable boundary, okay, rather than as a nucleus of a syllable. Okay, so the matrix lectionis correspond closely to what is called a modern linguistic glide, meaning it could stop, right? It can stop either one of these, right? It can stop the sound and it becomes what? A short sound. If it's so that would be like the segol in the middle of a word. That's the 2 dots. That's the segol, a shawa, sorry, a shawa, not a segol, a shawa. They put 2 stops there. It could be on a consonant, but if it's on the vowel, it's short. It's like whatever that vowel is, it's very short, like mitzweka or mitzwaka or mitzalka, right? What's that? Okay, so now it's telling you, or semi-vowel, the consonants Y and W is yes and west, respectfully. So we're talking about the consonant Y and W also take on vowels, but they function as consonants and also breaks, right? All right. All right, original orthography. When we're talking about original orthography, we only talking about what? Writing, not sound, okay? We almost
They were
done.
pretty smart.
Advance.
Yeah, it was their language.
Fine.
Here it is, we're English and we're trying to
You can see I'm not cutting them up. Y'all be trying to accuse me of that. It's one long, dumb lie.
put our spin on
There.
how it should be done. Okay. All right, so orthography is a standardized system for using a particular writing system or script to write a particular language. It includes rules of spelling. Okay, so think about that. The other thing is Punic. You ever heard of Punic? Do you know who they are?
It's the Phoenicians language.
You don't know who they are? Okay. The Punics were a group of Western Shemitic-speaking people from Carthage in North Africa who traced their origins back to the group of the Phoenicians, or the Phoenician settlers. Okay.
So that means they're not.
They have.
If they trace their roots back to Phoenician people, then that means that they're Canaanites. The Punic people are Canaanites, okay? And that is what Phoenician is. We don't speak Phoenician.
Their language was Phoenician, okay? So keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind.
Phoenician alphabets, called by convention the Proto-Canaanite alphabets, for inscription on older than 1200 BCE, is the oldest verified consonantal alphabet. It was used for the writings of the Phoenicians in the northern Shemitic language, used by the civilization of Phoenicia. It is classified because it records only consonantal sounds. The metrics lexicons were used for some vowels in certain late varieties, and we're going to see how that works. Okay, Paleo-Hebrew.
So the Canaanites had a writing system, and he's saying that their writing system did not include the vowel, but that, how do they know that? Nobody speaks the Phoenician language, and the Aleph, a Yod, He, Wa, Ayin is in their lettering system because it's in ours, right? So once again, whatever he's about to read has nothing to do with us. We may have used the lettering alphabet system, but we did not use their orthography as far as their rules of how to spell a word and how to conjugate words. You can't apply. There may be some similarities in some words, but we know that in the Phoenician language, that's why y'all keep talking about this Paleo-Hebrew, and you see the ox, and you be like, it's the ox. But Aleph in Hebrew does not mean ox, right? We know that bet can equal bayit as in house, similar. Aleph bet gimel, which means camel, right? But where you see a camel, I don't see no camel for gimel, right? Aleph bet gimel dalet, I don't see a door. The lettering don't picture a door, right? But dalet is door for us. So that doesn't mean though that all the Paleo Hebrew don't work like that. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So there have some similarities, maybe some loan words between the Phoenician and the Hebrew and all of the Aramaic, and because we all had one language and it got split up, and we all remained in that same area, right? Afro-Asiatic, Semitic languages, and we know, but we don't speak Phoenician, just like Akkadian is similar, but it's not our language. Just like Aramaic, not talking about the script, talking about the language is similar, but it's not the same language, nor does it have the same rules. Arabic is similar, but it does, right? But it doesn't have this, it's not all the same. There might be some loan words that's similar because one might have been born out of the other, but no, it's not the same. So whatever he's about to say about Phoenician, which nobody speaks Phoenician, y'all, doesn't apply to Hebrew. You can't take a Phoenician writing that came from Canaanites and apply that to Hebrew. The only thing you can recognize is the lettering.
Hebrew alphabets used to write early Hebrew was a regional offshoot of Phoenician. Okay, it is nearly identical to the Phoenician. The Samaritan alphabets used by the Samaritans is a direct descendant of Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. The Aramaic alphabet used to write the Aramaic is another descent of Phoenician. The Aramaic being the Middle East, it was widely adopted. It later split off due to power, political borders, into a number of related alphabets, including the Hebrew alphabet, the Syriac alphabet, the Nabatean alphabet. Have you ever heard of the Nabatean? They're just, they're
the nomads.
Some believe they're Armenians, basically speaking to the Arabics, or the Arabs. All right. It says, which in the cursive form, everyone ever seen Arabic starts going in that cursive writing? Okay, it says, which in its cursive form became an ancestor of the Arabs, currently used in the Arabic-speaking countries from North Africa through Iraq, Gulf region, as well as in Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and other countries for other languages. All right, so that's how they're saying it evolved. But they're homing in on Phoenician, Paleo-Phoenician is the...
That's how what evolved? What'd he say? Like he said that so quick. He's only it's called the origins of orthography, not the language, y'all, not how things are pronounced, not the rules of the language and the diction of the language. It's only about the history of the writing. That's it.
Starting point, and then from there they believe the Hebrews got it from that stage. All right, so I haven't lost anyone up to this point. All right, great. So Paleo Hebrew, which we're going to get into in just a minute, it seems to be accepted the fact that the correct pronunciation of the name is Yahweh. This is apparent.
How did we get into Paleo Hebrew pronunciation? Is no such thing. This is deceptive.
Apparently so, because most scholars say that this pronunciation is correct, but we need to walk out the facts. And that's what we're going to do today.
Walk out the facts.
Biblical Hebrew is a difficult subject for most of us. We therefore usually rely on research done by others and trust that their conclusions are correct.
I'm going to prove that that's what he's doing this whole time. His research is based upon Brian Earl Allen. It's not correct. And that's it.
When some things is controversial, like the origin of the Heavenly Father's name, most of us usually accept the conclusion of those scholars who are in the majority without actually checking out their research for ourselves. Why is this? The reason seems to be that people are...
So whoever wrote this is against the scholars. Did he write it?
No.
Or did Brian Earl Allen, who doesn't seem to be a scholar, or somebody who hates scholars, wrote it? And I'm going to bust it out because I suspect, y'all. I said I suspect. I'm not false accusing. I already know where he got the argument from, but he's reading something. And I suspect that that's not even his words. I suspect. All right, y'all. Y'all's my witness. Right. And if he was going to use somebody else's, I don't have a problem with it. But that's just a genuine statement to say you just use somebody else's research and then you use somebody else's research without even checking it out. Because I check out everything that I use. I don't use somebody's research that I can't verify or I already know myself. Right.
intimidated by
And I usually don't use other people's research.
the technical nature of ancient Hebrew. But does this need to be the case? Let us take a look at the facts surrounding the Heavenly Father's name. Okay, so most people fall in that category. There are some that may not, but for the most part, that's where it is. You know, some shun from it, or my moray says this, or the group that I'm with, they say.
Oh, that's the end. All right. So you saw the hypocrisy in that statement. All right. Okay, moving on. I'm almost done here, right?
They were pretty smart.
Advance.
Yeah, it was their language.
All right. So he only showed you a clip. All he's talking about is the orthography. As you can see here, this is ancient Semitic languages, right? And it starts with this is Phoenician or Proto-Canaanite right here. Now, it actually is more to it than that. I'm going to show you the other ones. This is middle. This is what it turned into now. And this, we did not write this. You will see nothing in Hebrew in this lettering right here. You see? You will see our writing either in this is middle. That's the writing system that we picked up, and it's just a writing letter system. It's not the language. It's not the rules. It's just the lettering. And this is what they keep calling modern Hebrew, but it's actually ancient, y'all. It's actually an ancient text. European white Jews did not create this text. All they did was perfect it in a font, and there's 1,000 fonts, just like we got fonts in English now. And these are the names: Aleph, Bet, Gam, maybe from the ancients, El, Bet, Gam, Dal, He, Wa, Zan, Chet, Tet, Yad, Kaf, Lam, Mem, Nun, Sin, Ga, Pe, Sad, Kuf, Resh, Shin, Ta, Ga, right? This is the pictures of what they are depicting, right? But middle and late is no longer depicting that, right? Y'all trying to make it that, right? It's not that. That's not a tent wall. That's right. That's not a basket. That's not a house, a 10th floor plan, right? That's a 10th floor plan, right? Okay. That's not a 10th floor plan. That's what we wrote in. We did not write that, right? That's not a door. This is like y'all stop it already. That's a hand, but that's not a hand. And that's not a hand, right? Get out of here. That may represent water flowing, but that's not water, and that's not water anymore, right? Even though we, I'm just saying, what's a sadi? A trail. What kind of trail is that? Get out of here. So people over here reading this stuff right here, which this is not Paleo Hebrew. This is Phoenician, right? And this is what we got out of it. This is how we write it as a lettering system, and this is how we write it now. And so from all of that, these are the sounds. You're not going to get anybody to say anything else, right? Ah, eh, be, be. Sometimes they say ve for bet. Give, ga, da, ha, ah, oh, w, w, o, u, ze, ha, ha, ta, ye, y, right? Or e, ka, or ha, la, ma, na, sa, oin is a GH because it's really a guttural sound like oin, right? Fe or pay, sa, ka, ra, sha, ta. That's what we got. And this is the development into the ancient Greek and the ancient Latin. This is modern Hebrew, which is the same as this. It's just perfected. That's all. It's just perfected. All right. Let's give you a little more. Y'all can read this. This goes even into more how this stuff is changing. It ain't just us, right? All of the Semitic languages have variations of the same lettering. You say it's Phoenician, maybe it's not, right? Here's the Ugarit right here. The Babylonian text, right? So is it Babel, right? Then we got the hieroglyphics from late Egypt right here. And then we got the Arabe Dusud. All of this is well, he says it here, the Sabians and the Nabateans and some of the Arab tribes right here. Very similar writing alphabet, right? Aramean right here, look like it. That could be what's on the post of that church at the end of the day. Who knows? This is the Nabatean, right? That it look more like this, don't it? Latin, right? Here you go. This is the Syriac, and this is the Arabic that is now used today. And to give you some more context, all we're talking about is the writing system, and the letterings are basically the same. Here it breaks down even more, right? From the Phoenician to the Sapphire. I don't know the Sapphire. This is where it's coming. John C. L. Gibson's 1975 textbook of Syrian Semitic inscriptions, Aramaic. These are all versions of how Aramaic has changed throughout time. You can see how it's gotten perfected. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Stop hating on it. It's Hebrew, right? And this right here, I believe is, hold on one second. This is the Amharic versus the Aramaic, right? You can see the Amharic, which is Ethiopia, is very similar to the Aramaic, right here. Aleph, Bet, Gamal, Dala, Te, Wa. You're not gonna get around that. Wa, all day. Zayin, Hate, Tate. I don't know how they pronounce it exactly. It could be a little Kop. Lamam, Mim, Nun, Simak, Simcha, Ain, Pe, Sadi, Hufreshin, Ta. Right? It's not two. Right? The Ta got the same thing as the Wa. If it's U, then this is two. Right? This is this geese? I believe this is geese. This is the Syriac alphabet right here, right? And they're showing you how they break down their vowel system from one letter. They all got what? O, E, A, I, I, U, A, right? Let's see. Do we have a W in there anywhere? Do we have a W? We see a V. Maybe the Germans came in and did that. Let's see. Do we have a W? W. Do I see the W? Where the W? There we go. There it is. We got a whoa, we, where, why, woo, wah. Stop it. That's the wah. All right. All right. What do we have here? Oh, it's the same one. Just broken down, right? Same one broken down with all the vowels. All right. So listen. Y'all, I can't. I think y'all are over the Paleo Hebrew. Some of y'all just idol worshipers, y'all just stuck to trying to stick to somebody that's just teaching it. But I believe that it's a lost business right now. I believe that it's died down and they're repackaging identity. Some people is getting jumping on the come out message and repackaging Black Wall Street, right? But this is almost done, right? Because some of y'all getting smart enough to read for yourself and realize that you ain't gonna never learn no Paleo damn Hebrew. You know why? Because there's nothing to learn but Hebrew. That's why at the end of the day, Yoshi's not teaching a Hebrew class because he don't know it. Hulda went and took a Hebrew course and is teaching you Hebrew and no longer Paleo. There's nowhere else to go. Her gig is up. All of these people now, Lamadri, who is no longer teaching you Paleo Hebrew, he's teaching you Hebrew and changing the rules. The gig is up. It's up. What is the difference between Hebrew and Paleo Hebrew? I just put it in the Google. Google said it. Google said it. All right. So you can believe Google or not. You could, if you don't believe, go to any scholar, go to anybody. There's only Negroes doing this, right? And this is all coming from the Hebrew roots movement that took it on as some extra secret, knowledgeable knowledge outside of righteousness. And they got it from Kabbalah, y'all. From Kabbalah. People that practice Kabbalah trying to bring mysticism in deepness in something, the secrets of what, right? Modern Hebrew is the same language. You can ask Chat GPT if you want right now. You can ask the AI. You're going to get the same answer. They know everything, so ask them. We're not asking them because we're going to know everything before them. We're going to know the truth. We don't want to know everything. We just want the truth, right? Modern Hebrew is the same language. Okay, wait. What is the difference between Hebrew and Paleo Hebrew? Modern Hebrew, I wish they would stop saying that, right? Modern Hebrew is the same language phonetically, grammatically, and in regards to vocabulary as Paleo Hebrew. There's no difference. Paleo Hebrew refers to the original Hebrew script, which was changed to the Aramaic square script after the Babylonian exile. Hebrew is Hebrew. There's no such thing as Paleo Hebrew. There's no other rules but what's in modern Hebrew. That's it. There's no such thing as a language called Paleo Hebrew. Am I lying? You did y'all said go find me wrong. Go find it wrong. It's not a language. That's why they over here and the ox. Abba is the ox that went into the house. And then I was like, let's see how they gonna explain Gmail. And I'm gonna get to this Madaji, how he explained the Gmail. I said, let me see how he gonna explain the camel, because he used it as we was in the house of bondage, and Yahweh, the strong hand, brought us out the house of bondage into his house. But then I was like, but the camel comes after. How come the camel don't come before? And he was like, and the camel is our Mercedes-Benz ride. And that's how our Cadillac. And I was like, see how these niggas do? Wait, before you get a house, you're supposed to get a car. What's wrong with y'all? How they get from the Egyptian house to our house without a camel first? It's stupid. All right, what is Paleo Hebrew? The Paleo Hebrew alphabet Hebrew is called Hakatav Ha'ivrit HaKodem, meaning the first written form of Hebrew. HaKodem means the first, from before, right? From of old. Also spelled Halaleo Hebrew alphabet. It is a variant of the Phoenician what? Alphabet. It's just a variant. I showed you the Phoenician. It's not exactly the same. Like the Phoenician alphabet, the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet contains 22 letters, all of which are consonants and is described as the Abjad, as we described. The term was coined by Solomon Birnbaum in 1954. He wrote, to apply the term Phoenician to the script of the Hebrews is hardly suitable, because he's telling you Phoenician language, Canaanite language, is not Hebrew. Right? Still, the script is nearly identical to the Phoenician script. Archaeological evidence of the use of the script by the Israelites for writing the Hebrew language dates to around the 10th century BCE. The Paleo-Hebrew alphabet began to fall out of use by the Jews in the 5th century BCE, when the Aramaic alphabet was adopted as the predominant writing system for Hebrew. This is the other mistake that people making about Yahushua spoke Aramaic, and we spoke Aramaic. Daniel, while he was in Babylon, used Aramaic, but he also spoke Hebrew. He did not lose his Hebrew. And so his text, as he was writing in Babylon, may have very well been the Aramaic Syriac dialect of the Hebrew. But however, nobody else is writing like that. The Hebrew is the Hebrew, it's not Aramaic. We're using, once again, the Aramaic writing system. This is what they keep also falsifying what's written in the New Testament, talking about Lama Sakbatani. That's not what he said, right? That's not what's written. Began to fall out of use in the Jews' 5th century. The Aramaic alphabet was adopted as the predominant writing system for Hebrew. We did not speak Aramaic. We may have known Aramaic coming out of the Babylon system and used it in the common way, but our writings, our biblical writings, and our speaking to one another in the Hebrew language is not Aramaic. The present Jewish square script Hebrew alphabet evolved from the Aramaic alphabet. The Samaritans, now fewer than 1,000 people, have continued to use a derivative of the Paleo-Hebrew. I'm going to show you it. Alphabet known as the Samaritan alphabet. While the use of the script is negligible nowadays, right? It is present in some symbolic usages, such as this called shekel, the one coin, and the logo of the Israeli town Nahariya, right? So it's almost a lost language, right? The only ones that use it, and it's only written in their text of the Torah. All right, so here it is again. This is hieroglyphics. This is Proto-Sinaitic, right? This is Canaanite, right? Hieroglyphics. This is what this is, right? By the time we get all the way over here to Proto-Canaanite, it is not hieroglyphics. This is Proto-Canaanite. It is a letter system. Phoenician is a lettering system. This is Paleo-Hebrew, is a lettering system, Aramaic and the Hebrew, of course. Once again, just want to show it. When it's over here, it's hieroglyphics. By the time we use it, it's just letters. As well as the Phoenician language, it's not hieroglyphics, it's just letters. Here's the rest of the letters, so you can see from the hieroglyphics to a lettering system. See it once again, from a hieroglyphics to a lettering system. And there we go, moving on. All right, so I'm gonna give you a rundown. I'm not gonna read all of this. You can pause it and read it yourself. The 10 oldest languages. What you're not gonna see there is Paleo-Hebrew, right? We got Sumerian 5,000 years ago. Sumerian language. Here we go. It's it looks like it's not quite the cuneiform. The cuneiform is took its place. The Sumerian language died off. It's no longer spoken. Nobody knows Sumerian language. Done. Ain't nobody coming over here. You want to learn the Sumerian? No, right? There's nothing to learn. Right? It's an extinct language, right? It maybe the Nephilims can come back and teach it to somebody. Now I do believe that, but no, right? Yeah, leave that language alone. You go leave it alone, right? So the Sumerians began speaking Semitic Akkadians, but the Assyrio-Babylonians continued using it as a written language for close to a millennium after they stopped speaking it. All right. Then we have Egyptian. There we go. Hieroglyphs. Y'all know all about it. Africa, right? There we go. We're not blah. They had a lettering system, y'all. They didn't only use hieroglyphics as pictures. It's dead. Nobody knows what Egyptians sound like. All y'all over the Hemotep, Amunununutep, Nefertiti. Y'all don't know what it sound like. Right? And so once again, the ancient Egyptians is none other than some of what y'all calling the Bantu people that have been kicked out. Some of them has gone down into Ethiopia. Some of them has gone down all the way in West Africa. And I believe all the way to Nigeria, where when we find evidence of the ancient Egyptian priesthood, what you're gonna, the closest evidence that you got to the ancient Egyptian priesthood is the Yoruba. And the Benin, right? Same gods and everything. It might have sounded something like that, but it don't sound like what they saying it sound like now, right? They could get to a meaning, but how it sounded, no. It's a dead language. Nobody speaks it. Tamil. Where was Tamil from? Is it India? Sri Lanka, Singapore, right? It's a dead language. Let me just tell you. Nobody, is it dead? No, wait a minute. No, I think it's only one of the one. Okay, it's not dead. Sorry. Finally, Tamil has earned recognition as a minority language in Mauritius, Malaysia, and South Africa. So it's still used. I think it's one of the oldest languages that's still in effect to this day. Yes, Tamil. Sanskrit. Sanskrit, I believe, is in Indo-European family, like up in India and stuff like that. The two versions of Sanskrit are similar in many ways, but differ in grammar, phonetically, and vocabulary. All right, in India, the version of the Sanskrit is still spoken today in many parts of India, and the government even recognizes it as one of the country's 22 official tongues. So Sanskrit is still alive today. I'm sure it has taken on some changes, but it has to in a modern world. And then we have Greek. Greek is among the few ancient tongues that still exist today, probably most intact out of all of the languages. But because they conquered the world. And guess what? Y'all still speaking Greek, Latin today, right? That's how you know what the Roman Empire didn't fall, y'all. It's continued because we still use the language, right? Lettering system and everything. Still alive, but as I just showed you that, how it took on changes, right? Influences and changes. 3,450 years ago. Now, this is only what they can prove by the writing. It could have existed much longer than that. This is only by the writing that they have. Han ethnic Chinese, 3,250 years ago. It's still used today. I think it's gone through some changes, right? Scholars categorize Han's ethnic Chinese as a Sinitic language and collective terminology that describes the many languages spoken by the minority groups in China. So it's probably taken on some changes too, but it's still alive today. Mandarin and Cantonese are the main languages in China today and are what most outsiders call Chinese, but these languages are relatively recent. Cantonese emerged in 220 AD, while Mandarin emerged in 1300s. Okay. Then we got Hebrew. Okay. What's that? It's Hebrew. Why don't say Paleo Hebrew? All right. Hebrew is a Semitic language spoken in the Northwest. Anthropologists consider it one of the Afro-Asiatic languages. Historically, it's one Israelite spoken language. Oh, it's one Israelite spoken language. I guess it's saying it's our only spoken language. The longest surviving descendants of the Israelites, the Samaritans, and the Jews also speak it. Now, once again, I already know that even though they still have the language, their dialect is mixed with Arabic and Turkish, because those are not the true people. They took on the language, but it's mixed. I know it. Hebrew is Israeli official language. However, Palestinians also adopted Hebrew as their official language sometime after World War I. Jews consider Hebrew a holy language because it was used to write the Old Testament. The language emerged about 1000 BC, disappeared, but was later revived by the Israelites. It was never disappeared. Even the Hebrew we have now, I already showed you the article that there was a small group of Jews that was still left in the land, Black Jews, in fact, in Jerusalem, that maintained the language. They did have to do comparative studies to bring back the, to organize it again. They didn't recreate the language. What they did was put it in a book so that they can teach it to you quickly. The written format of Hebrew is written and read from right to left, unlike English, which follows the opposite direction. It's Hebrew. That's all it is, y'all. That's all it is. Aramaic, right? We don't speak Aramaic. We may have used the Aramaic text. You can see it looks very similar now to what we're using in the text. The Aramean birth of the Aramaic language sometimes in 900 BC. The Armenians were a Semitic group from the Middle East. Y'all can read it. I'm just trying to get through it. By 600 BC, Aramaic had replaced Akkadian as the official language in the Middle East. Subsequently, the Achaemenid Persians adopted the language. Greek eventually displaced Aramaic as the official Persian Empire language. All right. Then we have Latin. There we go. That's what we was disputing over. I don't know how to deal with. I don't know. But Latin, ancient Rome made Latin its official language for the empire. I just gave you some history on it. Y'all can read this. But the other languages that fall under this category includes Italian, French, Romanian, Spanish, and Portuguese. Even English is an Indo-European language, right? That's how we know we still under what empire? The Roman Empire, Greco-Roman Empire. That's right. Interestingly, the people who originated spoke Latin were called Romans. The name Roman is derived from Romulus, the founder of the language, and is probably a conglomerate of Greek with some of these Slavic other nations as well. All right. And then we have Persian, the 10th at about 2,500 years ago. And you can see that it looks very much like the cuneiform a little bit. Persian, also referred to Farsi, emerged in 525 BC, ancient times. Old Persian birthed the language and used Behustan inscriptions to write it down. So they used somebody else's writing system to write down their writing. To write it down. Some inscriptions can be found in Kermanshah city in Iran, which has since been alleviated to UNESCO World Heritage Site because of these. Y'all can read the rest on the Darius, the Elamite, Persian, Babylonian Kingdom. You can see where this looks very much like cuneiform, but we're talking about the same region at the end of the day. All right. So I'm almost done here. Let's finish him up.
You know, some shun from it, or my Moray says this, or the group that I'm with, they said this way, and I just believe what they say. All right. The following is taken from
all of you that's following Yahuah. That's exactly the category that you come under. Nobody that says and believes Yahweh just said it because their leader. Nobody. There's no group out there that just says Yahweh because their leader said it.
An article, Paradox of the Anonymous Name by Gerald Gortex. He's considered a French guy that is supposed to be a specialist in the 4 Hebrew letters. In other words, he devoted his whole life into trying to figure out how the 4 letters of the Father's name.
When my father first did his lecture on the name that I also loaned from, I used a lot of Gerald Cortex's scripts, and he has some powerful things. I decided to remove some of them out because he's just making statements where we want to be what? Edifying. But what I can conclusively say, I haven't finished this lecture because I'm not done proving Yahweh, right? I'm not done. With all the scholars and everybody he's about to use is going to verify what I'm saying by the spirit of truth, that the name is Yahweh. Gerald Cortex says the name is unequivocally Yahweh. Gesenius says unequivocally that it's Yahweh. And every biblical Hebrew scholar says the same thing. All right.
Was pronounced, okay? And I give you that research this one here. But anyway, It says, in Hebrew, these consonants, the yod, the wa, the hey, do serve as vowels. They are, in fact, called mother reading, which we just saw here. It says the writings of the Qumran show that, meaning everyone knows what Qumran is, right? Like the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, they show that the first century yod used as vowels served only to indicate the sounds of an I and E. Okay, the wa served only as a sound.
So now he's reading this. We're gonna apply these rules and see if that works. Okay. So he said that the yod, let's go back, wait.
To indicate the sounds of an I. Okay, they show that the first century yod used as vowels served only to indicate the sounds of an I and E. Okay, the wa served only as the sound U. And the final hey serves as a sound of an A. And we're going to see how this works. These
okay, and then he said, and the final what? The final hey. That means that if the hey is at the end of the word, it serves as a what? No, that's not what he said. No, he's not saying that. He says when they serve as vowels. Let's go back. No, when they're used as vowels, that's not saying that it's not a wa sound. Let's go back. I know, Gerald, we are one in the spirit of the unity of Yah. And I know because Gerald, through his rules, has determined that it's Yahweh, what he's not saying, right? So we're going to apply these rules.
Yod, hey, do serve as. It says in Hebrew, these consonants, the yod, the wa, the hey, do serve as vowels.
All right. So he's reading that they are consonants. He's not saying it doesn't have the ha sound or the wa sound, or he's saying when they serve as consonants, his rules is that when the yod, let's go back, we're going to write this down.
They are, in fact, called mother reading, which we just saw here. It says the writings of the Qumran show that, meaning everyone knows what Qumran is, right? Like the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, they show that the first century yod used as vowels served only to indicate the sounds of an I and E.
I and E.
The wa served only as the sound U.
Only.
And the final hey serves as a sound of an A. And we're going to see how this works.
The final hey serves only as a sound of what? A. Not eh, not ah, A, right? I want y'all to understand that. Okay. Y'all, okay. Okay.
Right in front of your face.
Now he gonna make this say Yahuah somehow. Right? At best, we're gonna run this formula that he's trying to use, and I already know that he's blocking off some of what Gerald says about rules. He's only gonna do this right now, right? Because I know that Gerald has to say based upon conjugations and context, all of that stuff, right? But we're gonna go. He says A, right? All right.
These equivalents may be verified in thousands of words. Additionally, listen, the hey was used as a vowel only, listen, only at the end of a word, never within them. So
he says that the hey was used as a vowel only at the end, never in the middle. I disagree with that, but okay. If Gerald said that, I don't understand how Gerald came up with Yahweh unless he's not reading his accessions. Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna fact check all of this. But anyway, we still gonna work this out. Let's see if it works to his advantage.
the hey, which is this one here. I'll put some names here just in case some people are writing this down. This is the yod. We call it the yod. And this is the u. I'll just do it regular.
Yod u.
You know, commonly said as the wa.
Oh, yeah, you know it, yeah.
And the aleph. And this is the. All right. So, but they're saying for this word, this hey, when it's at the end of the word, it functions as a what? As a vowel.
I agree.
Okay? Why is this important? It just so happens, the ending of the father's name has a hey, so we're going to see how this functions as a vowel.
It can also function as like.
You know that goes against what that exercise that he just read when it says Kal tu te ha. That what he tried to push, and this what he's saying goes against it. Okay.
Masculine, because it also functions as like feminine, masculine as well at the end of a word.
Right. Well, when we get into the hey.
Okay, so this is the same guy that's questioning him, but he's the only one that's really questioning him. He seems to know a little bit. He says, but yes, because he's trying to push this sound, but that's not what he just read. It says a, right? A. It's like a Y sound, a. And he's saying, but yes, don't the hey sometimes function as the and the air between masculine and feminine? Absolutely. Why doesn't he just say yes? Watch. Because he wants to deceive I bet you this person is not in his group anymore.
At the end of a word.
Right. Well, when we get into the hey, as far as masculine and feminine, normally when you add the hey at the end, it becomes feminine. Then it even turns into a ta as well in certain ways. And
did you see that shuffle? Did you see that, John? He didn't answer the question, but see, now we got the ta. Okay, let's see this shuffle again. Let's see this shuffle. That's how I know that he's being deceitful. He is sent to lie to you. Nobody would even answer a question like that if he was sincere about getting you to understand the truth. Let's see.
Father's name has a hey, so we're going to see how this functions as a vowel.
It can also function as like masculine. It can also function as like feminine, masculine as well at the end of a word.
Right. Well, when we get into the hey, as far as masculine and feminine, normally when you add the hey at the end, it becomes feminine. Then it even turns into a ta as well in certain ways, and that would be get into more grammar, but still as feminine. But it also does have a masculine to it as well that some people don't grasp. They think, you know, for example, if I say pictographically, that's a picture of a what?
Now he just jumped to Paleo Hebrew.
No, the hey, it's a picture of a what? It means to reveal and behold. It's a picture of a what? It's a picture of a man with his arms up talking about behold or reveal. Okay, so literally it's a picture of a man.
So then it's got to have some masculine qualities.
Okay, so basically what they need to understand is it doesn't follow. Modern Hebrew teaches that. And I'm not saying that all modern Hebrew is wrong, but I'm saying that it's the character within the hey has a lot of other stuff that we have to get into the actual grammar behind it. Because think about what his name means. You know, the yod being masculine at the beginning of the name, right? And then the head, and someone said, well, see, it can't be, hey can't be there then because it makes it feminine. But you gotta understand that
that's
the
not
father,
what nobody said.
See later on at the end of this lesson, the father himself, is he a provider? Yes. He is, absolutely, right? But does he also take care of you? Right. All right, so he has some masculine qualities and quote unquote so some feminine qualities, right? But does that make him now a female? No. So what he said is that I'm gonna make you in the image and likeness of him. So he's given the man and he's given the woman. But he said both of you guys is an image of me. You see what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. We'll have to get into a whole bunch of it, but
what that got to do, the question but the hey at the end is also used as an or to describe feminine versus masculine. And he jived that whole thing away because he knows when we get into Yahweh's name, it's coming from a verb that actually depicts, when you're talking about verb forms, it's depicting what makes it a or a versus masculine and feminine. And he just Oh boy, I'm gonna put a video. Man, all right. And then he said, well, you got to get into more grammar. That's what he asked you. Yep.
I just don't want to think that hey, it's feminine, so that can't be right, or we need to just let.
Who said the hey is feminine? Nobody said that. We said that you cannot, in that verb, a and I determines whether it's a feminine or masculine, and so you cannot use I. Nobody said that I always means that it's masculine at the end. We know that. But in that verb form, it definitely depicts that. 100%. Nobody said nothing about hey. He said about I and eh, representing masculine and feminine in the end.
That go, especially in all the writing, it had a hey there. Right. And there's a group of people that it didn't have it, which we'll talk about in just a minute. All right.
He dodged that.
All right, so let me see here. In the Hebrew, the consonants yod, hey, wad do serve as vowels. They are, in fact, called mother of reading. The writing Quran shows that in the first century, the yod was used to serve as an I or an E. The wa was as the sound of a U, and the final hey served as the sound of an A. We talked about that. Then it says the hey was used as a vowel only at the end of a word, never within them. So to read the name yod, hey, wah, hey as 4 vowels would be, and they give you an example of that. Now, here's the thing behind this. I'm going to have to take this out.
Okay, so they give us an example of that. He didn't want to give us his example. I'll find it for you. This is only part 1, y'all. I got so much more, right?
Wrote this down. Now, this yod, okay, okay, so this letter here comes into the,
All right.
Some chunk from it or my.
All right, let's plot these rules and see what we get, right? So it says the yod only used as vowels, A, I, and E, right? When it's used as a vowel, I or E, right? The wa, when it's used as a vowel, only U, as in double O. And the hey, final hey, as the vowel, A, only used as a vowel at the end of the word and never within, right? All right. All right. So what's happening here is that it's not saying that the hey is never used as a consonant. It's saying that the letter hey as a vowel is never used as an A in the middle of the word. It's not saying that it's never a silent sound, right? And this is the rule. I want y'all to find, because this is the rule how we get Yahweh, right? This is the rule. All right, let's apply this. Yod, hey, wah, hey. Assuming not a consonant, only used as a vowel, we got the Y, but if we was to have the I or E, right? But they want to say that it's the Y, right? Because remember the guy asked, but according to what you're saying, the ancient Hebrew, that means that they're only vowels. He said, no, well, you got to get into the grammar. Well, here's the grammar that he said he was going to teach you the next day. Here it is. So he's letting you know, they say Yahuah, so he must believe that it's this, right? And the hey, right? He's trying to say that it's never a consonant, but that's not what he was saying. He was saying it's never the A sound, A in the middle, right? So if we apply that, we can realize that it's not A, it's not this in the middle. It can be a it can be a and it could be a ha, right? I didn't put that there. But then we got the vowel. Assuming not a consonant as a U vowel, oo, and all the hey always is used at the end as a sound. Let's see. Let's see how that works out. Y'all want to try that? Yahuah. I mean, sorry. Wait. No. Yahuah.
Or I ha.
No, this is not ah. This is a.
I or
No, but we already know that he's not saying that. It's Yahuah. That's what, right? If he's trying to say that, but that's not really what gets it. You know what? Let me fix this. Hold on. Let me give the options. Let me fix that. Is he saying that it can't be a ha? He's not saying that. And he's not saying, what did I want to say? No, that's what I'm saying, right? Okay, no, that's what I want to say. So if we don't need, let's put it together. We already know his argument, right? He's not saying that the yod is a right. He's not saying that, right? We already read the rules that he read from Gesenius, that the yod in the beginning is always a Y sound, right? We giving him the, well, we know he's giving us the yod. We believe in the yod, right? Right. So based on what he said, that this can't be an A sound, but it didn't say it can't be a ha or it can't just be a ah. So we agreement that is ah. I'm in agreement that it's an ah, but what is he saying? Is he saying that it has to be which one is he saying? Right? So we put both. Yahuah or Yahuah. That's the best you get with what he's trying to imply without any other rules to the grammar of this word. Yahuah or Yahuah. That's what you get. What you're not going to get is Yahuah. That what we just read, right? Is there any other variation? You go home and try it yourself with what he just read and see how that works out for you. The best you're going to get is Yahuah, right? And by the time you say Ue, what did you just say? If you just speaking fluently and not retarded. There's no way. That's why it's going to be, what they call it. What's that word? I like that word. What's that word? Derivative. Am I making up stuff? Derivative. Bilabial fricative. That's why it's considered a bilabial fricative allophonic, right? Because by the time you put the oo, a together, you would have said with breath, wah, wah. That's why it's a bilabial fricative, because you cannot say one without the other. Vowel, semi-vowel, semi-consonant. What do you call it? A glottal, a glider, right? And so is yod, because you cannot say yeah, right? You got to hold your breath if you're not going to get that strong. Yeah, you got to breathe. You're going, yeah, Yahweh. Say it fast. Come on, say it like you black and melanated and proud. Say it. Yahweh. That's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to get. Yahweh. And that's what we praise, right? How did he get Yahuah? How did he do that? He don't know. All right. Yep. Okay, Gesenius said Yahweh. Gesenius said, Yahweh, all of the information in this section, which I didn't write this out, this was somebody else's didactory, fighting combative words against lies that I picked up and I put it in here because he said it better than me. But I do have Gesenius. We're gonna go more into them. All of the information in this section and previous section goes a long way to prove two things. First, it proves exactly what Gesenius says in the quote above. Or did I write this? I don't even remember, right? Haya is older than the common form of Hawa. Oh, this goes from something else that I put in here, right? And itself primitive. It is the same exact verb, only older. It carries the same meaning and conjugates just the same. Second, it proves that Yahweh is not a valid option for the pronunciation of the name. Even if that form did exist outside of the hypothesis, it would still only be a strict verbal conjugation and not a name. This is about people using Yahweh, Yahweh, all of that is based upon the verb. It's not a proper noun, right? It's just a verb. Just like Ehyeh, it's just a verb. It's not a name. But this is Gesenius clip. I'm going to do more to try to find because I got it from somebody else's clip and the page is not there. Give me time. I said this is only part one. I got more to deal with. Gesenius in his grammar, while discussing the concepts of the Kiri Kativ, says the following. This is Gesenius. So no matter what rules he tried to say, Gesenius said, there was obviously exceptions. This was in the exception page. I got to find out the page. I've still been doing my research to go through the letters. Other instances are Yishkar, Yishashkar, right? So he's talking about some other instances, and Ba'ir and the Litzshiks, Genesis page 84 and below, note Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is in one writing. Yerushalayim, right? Properly, Yerushalayim. This is how they say it now, Yerushalayim, but I say it's Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim. This two dot is called the what? Sigol. These two dots is called the Shiva, and they say that it's a short E sound. It's a short vowel, but it's not always an E. I'm saying that it's Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, not Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim. And properly according to the Masoretic text, this is how they're saying it, Yerushalayim, right? Then he goes into now the Yod-He, Wah-He, that they put in there, right? Yahuah, as in he's telling you that they pointed out the Shua, O and the Ah, and put that in there from Adonai and put that in there, and that's how they came up with Yahuah. Or after Adonai, right? Yehowi, right? Or they put in the quotes, the dots from Elohim. Properly what? Properly what? Yahweh. Properly Yahweh. He's putting the schwa. Did I say that right? He's putting the schwa there to let you know that it's a what? It's a syllabic stop. It's cut off. Yahweh. This is Gesenius. Yahweh. I'm still gonna go into this, right? Shtayim as Shanayim, but this is feminine and masculine for shtay or shnei, right? And the point that he's trying to make here, I don't know because it was taken out of a whole context, but this is his notes. And whatever Gesenius is saying about rules, this is what Gesenius said. Properly, Yahweh. That's the end of Gesenius, right? In another section 27, he says, the divine name Yahuah, which has not its original vowels, Yahweh, but those of Adonai, except that Yod has simple, not compound, takes the prefix also after the manner of Adonai. Thus, Yahuah, Le Yahuah, by Yahuah, Me Yahuah, right? Since they are to be read, Wa Adonai, Le Adonai, Ba Adonai, and Me Adonai. For the Aleph of Adonai and of Adonai and Adonai and Adoni, right? See below. Quisquis after the prefixes Wa, Le, La, Ba, Ka, but is audible after Me or Mean, She, no instance of the OT, and Ha. Ha Elohim, in Ha Elohim. The article not Ha, interrogative, is intended the only example of Ha interrogative. I don't know what that means exactly. Is to be pointed as Ha Yahuah, Ha Yahuah. So this is what they intended it to be, i.e. Ha Adonai, or Ne, Ha Adonai. Not Ha Yahuah. Hence the rule, Moshe, Moses brought out, the He, Shin, Mem makes the Aleph audible. Ve'kalev Machnim, and Caleb brought in. So these are some other rules. It's not even applying to this. We just show, I think this is being pointed out because he's showing once again that it's Yahweh and what they did to get these other versions of the name. As regards to other plural forms, Adon, Elisan, none of this matters. This is not the point. The point is what I read up here, right? So I'm gonna just reread it again. The divine name Yehovah was not its original, which has not its original vowels, Yahweh, but those of Adonai, except that the Yod has simple, not compound, takes the prefix also after the matter of Adonai, thus Yahuah, Le Yahuah, Be Yahuah, Me Yahuah. Since they are to be read, Wa Adonai, Le Adonai, Be Adonai, Me Adonai, for the ayin of Adonai or Adoni or Adoni, the Aleph, yes, for the Aleph of Adonai, Adoni, Be Adoni. That's the point. So that is in section 27. I'm going to do more to get y'all to be able to go look it up yourselves. As I showed you, Genesis is trying to be written down that you can find it yourself, right? As he says, you don't want to take all that time. But in no uncertain terms, unequivocally, whatever rules that Gesenius said, he clearly said Yahweh. Conclusion. There are several other locations between his grammar and lexicon where he illustrates his learned opinion in addition to proving that the traditionally accepted pronunciation Yahweh, Yahuah is not originally based on the adjectival and pronoun behaviors surrounding it. Amongst other things, we have gone through these in great details in the previous section above. What is important to note about these two sections in Gesenius grammar, though, is that he states in no uncertain terms that the pronunciation of the name is Yahweh, E-A-U-A, Yahweh. As these right here are what? The Yod and the Wa are what? Glides or semi-vowels, meaning that there's no way to pronounce them without hearing a little bit of the what? Consonant, and there's no way to pronounce the consonant without hearing a little bit of the what? Vowel. Yahweh. Yahweh. Hallelujah. All right. So he goes into the Greek iota. It's a bunch of crap. I don't know why. Y is Y, right? It's not E or anything. They keep saying iota, right? Let me see how long this is. I'm almost done.
Everyone sees that, right?
It says
everyone knows the Greek letter iota, right? The iota
it's not
is
iota.
Greek. But where does the iota, which is their I or their E, then it tell you the iota, but what's the sound of how you say iota?
Iota.
E, right? And he said, but of what origin? Where did it come from?
Hebrew origin.
So it's a Hebrew origin, right? And it specifically tells you of the 10th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So the 10th letter would be the Yod, right? So understand, if you see something that says EA suits, for an example, what would they say if their iota had a different sound, more closer to the Hebrew sounds?
They say they pronounce Y.
Right. More.
Now, it is a Y. It's because he's taking false information. It's not iota. Once again, the yod is the glide or a semi-vowel. Semi-vowel. That means that when you say yah, as soon as you get breath, you got to pronounce a slight E, right? But it's not iota. It's, hold on. Hold on. Let's help you.
Iota, iota, iota.
All right. All right. It's not iota. That's why he's messing up with the Yahuah, all that right? They don't understand. They're killing it. And they're killing the Greek language too. It's not iota and it's not iota, right? The double E is to pronounce the fact that it's a Y sound. Just like the double U is to show you that it's a W sound, right? Uppercase I, lowercase I, Greek. Iota is the 9th letter of the Greek alphabet. It was derived from the Phoenician letter Yod. Letters that arose from these letters include the Latin I, which is
Iota, iota, iota.
all right. So it's not an I, it's a iota. It's a Y. Rose from this include the Latin I, the J, the Cyrillic I or YI, and JE. This is the English bastardization, and the iotated letters as in EU, or I guess that's U in some kind of acrylic, right? But it's pronouncing the U, the YU. Okay. That's him, I guess, trying to help the case that it's not Iosus, right? Very nice. What was this? Okay, moving on. So once again, let me make it clear. Letters in the Hebrew language that serve as consonant vowels, right? The yod is a semi-vowel, so it also forms as an E, I, or A as well. But the I or A is when is put next to another vowel sound. Hey is either ah or a, but we recognize that at the end, it's a what? A sound, an A sound. And the wa, you may say that it's mostly used as a u, but it's a o as well, and it's the consonant wa. And the aleph is it's a silent. The aleph takes on whatever vowel is in front of it, right? And the ayin is not silent, but it's a guttural stop, takes on the vowel or the consonant right? It's not silent at all, right? So this is the problem. Y'all a bunch of that's the problem right there. All right. All right. Now, do I want to do this right now? Do y'all need, no, we could do another vowel lesson later. Y'all go ahead, learn the difference between long vowels, short vowels, right? And diphthong vowels. This is a little video. I don't feel like it right now. I'm gonna move on because there's gonna be a part 2 to this. All right. Now, we done for now. We done for now, but I just want to let you know right now that he picks up the Karaite text that says that it's 4 vowels, and slightly shows it in this video. I caught it. I got it. And because the Karaite text is actually the Arab Jews from Iraq, that's where the text is from, they have the mikvah system too. And I'm going to read it, right? I'm going to read it, not today, and then I'm going to have someone that speaks Arabic read it for you. And to show you that it's not saying what he's saying, that he's lying on the very text. Oh, you busted now, Negro. But let me see if we get, he didn't even show it in the video. Hold on. Do I have
It also shows it's found in both the ends is by. So this is common for thousands of years.
There it is. It's Arabic right there. Got it. Got it. And so we've been learning Arabic. We got Arabic speakers and teachers, and we're going to have my Arabic friend come and read this and see if it says what he says. Because like I said, they were Abba Jobs too, and they also took on the Masoretic vowel pointing system because they were still Jews. They took on the same system. So let's see what that says. Not today, just letting you know. You can let him know that I'm coming.
It also
showing Josephus. He picks up Josephus. And the reason why I'm pointing this out right now, because I'm telling you, that once I break down this, what's his name again? Brian Earl Allen, that published the name of Yahuah, that he's picking up his whole argument, a stolen argument. Josephus 4 vowels. We're going to find out that Josephus talks about 4 vowels, and it doesn't prove anything. It does prove E-A-U-A. That's 4 different vowel sounds. E-A-U-A. It does not prove E-A-U-A. That's only 3, right? Only 3. But we're going to go through Josephus to see what Josephus says. Back check.
Josephus.
I'm letting you know. All right, no, get out. But I do want to end with this, and I'm going to end with this. Jonathan Goldman, can you go in there and get me the book? I believe, did I bring the book? I believe I have the book. Did I bring the book? Please tell me I brought the book. Is it in there? All right. Look up this book, y'all. I have the book. I don't know if I have it with me right now or if it's packed away. It's a small book. Maybe like this, right? You don't see it. Okay. I didn't bring it. It has also a recording in the end in this book. But go look up Jonathan Goldman. Yes, he's a Jew, but he's not a religious Jew. An international authority on sound healing, right? And a pioneer in the field of harmonics since 1980, a master's degree in harmonics. So that means that he studies scientifically sound, vibration, their hertz, their frequencies, the perfection of sound and all of this. So this is, his study is coming from, he's not coming from a religious, scholarly, linguistic perspective, right? A lecturer member of the International Society of Music for Medicine. Where Malka at? Where'd she go? All right, we'll read it later. The book is a good book, right? I don't remember how I found the book, but I found the book, right? I really don't, but I have it. And what I thought was, this is what he said, right? In short, he quotes also Fabre de Olivet, right, as well. The divine name in its ancient Hebrew form had originally been sounded as vowels. If we was to go with that, that's okay. You know why? Because as soon as you stop speaking like a retard, you're going to get the consonants. Yahuah, Yahuah. Just say the vowels. Yahuah, Yahuah. Right? So even if you wanted to say that, we can go with that. You still, as soon as you say you're going to get the Y, and it sounds as you say ua, you're going to get the W. You can't get around it. And that's another way how we know. But aside from that, even more extraordinary was the discovery that certain sources that the letter Hey was pronounced slightly different in its 2 different positions. That's what we was just reading in not Gesenius, but Theodore, right? That as an ah sound at the beginning of the name, and a what? A as in may or might, right? Yahweh, a. This is what it is, right? And at the end of the name, these sources include Josephus, the 1st century Hebrew historian, Fabre de Olivet, I quote him in the beginning of my lecture, 19th century scholar cited in Jocelyn's Elohim's The Mystery of the Seven Vowels, and Charles Williams Wall's linguistic text proof if the interpolation of the vowel letter in the text of the Hebrew Bible. Thus, the vowels resulting from intoning Yod, He, Wah, by pronouncing as two different Hey sounds were E, A, U, E. That's what we just, E, A, U, E. He's coming in his field. He says, when I tried this myself for the first time, I heard the same sound I vocalized the morning when I awakened from my dream. I clearly heard the divine name. He wasn't looking for the divine name. He put it all together as he did this test, and he meditates on vowel sounds and he intones them to find the right vibration of the perfect medium, right? So this is what he discovered that out of the 7 vowels intonation sequences, E, A, U, A, resonant frequency, sonic vibration was the most powerful. Hallelujah. Right? So when we talk about sonic frequency vibration, please stay tuned. I'm not finished on my lecture on the power, the essence of Yahweh's name. For sure that it has to resonate out your mouth, but what comes out your mouth has to be where? In your heart. And so I'm gonna teach you the mystery of the 144,000. Why they have to be sealed with Yah's name, and why in the wilderness when we form ourselves and array ourselves in the priest and call out Yahushua's name, purify. He's purifying us in the wilderness, that we're gonna become a reciprocating time bomb. A fire that consumes, but we are not consumed in it. Why he said we're going to become like the fire, like the angel of Yah, like angels, like Elohim that went before us. This is a whole mystery, and it's not a joke. This ain't about no damn hip hop in the song box to make no hits on the YouTube and make some quick money from. Ain't nobody, as much as I wrote, I could have been the best author of the New Awakening movement right now. Ain't nobody wrote as much as me. Y'all ain't no damn scribes. Y'all a bunch of lying scribes and thieving scribes. Ain't nobody wrote what I wrote like I wrote. But who got time to write a damn book? Take your money, invest in a book to give it to you when I could just give it to you straight, and I gave it to you for free. All my lectures is a damn book. You don't believe me? Watch this lecture. Oh no, I'm gonna show you, got 500 pages. Watch my lecture on the come out. It's about 400 pages. My lecture on another Israel is like 300 pages. My lecture on the fall of the Garden of Eden, the mystery of the tree of life, is like 400 pages. I've been writing books and books, but I'm not here to make a dime off of you. I didn't pimp Yah's word or Yah's name. All right. So now I want to talk to you about the Samaritan dialect. We know that these are Arabs, Turkish Arabs that came and intermixed and overtook, and they held on to some of the language as well as Arabic mixed with Turkish, but they still have the Paleo Hebrew, right? Or a version of it. So I want you, Shamir, you might have to come here. The girl is talking on top of the dad, and so he's speaking Hebrew and Samaritan dialect. She's speaking all on top of daddy, so it's hard to make it out. And he's speaking Hebrew, so I'm gonna do my best to tell you what he says, and the video cuts off right in between, right? And so this will show you that even the Samaritan dialect has the W sound when you say "oo," as we say "Eluah," right? Eluah. Right now, we may put more breath in it and cut it off and be like Eloah, Eloah, but you can't do it if you're going without saying the W. Eloah, the W is there, right? He said, "Are you recording right now?" Right? אתה מצלם את ככה?
תביא, אני אחזיק ואתה תפתח.
She said, give it to me, I'm gonna hold it for you, something like that. I can't understand her.
עכשיו לצלם ככה?
כן, בסדר.
תביא, אני אחזיק ואתה תפתח.
כן, ככה. יפה. תצלם.
כן, אני מצלם. מה כתוב פה?
He said, מה כתוב פה? What is written here? So this is the Samaritan writing script, right?
מתחיל גם...
פוספסל קימה, איקטר ערף קימה, לאטיקה לפת, שעדק לקטה, ולקט חסירה קרטה
לאני ולקט הזהו שבזה בסוף מהתורה.
לאני ולקט.
So he says it's reading something basuf from the Torah, right? So it might be a chapter, or it sounds like he's saying Genesis. I'm not sure.
At the end of a certain chapter.
Yeah, at the end of the certain chapter, it looks like he's saying it's the ends of the chapter or something like basuf shala Torah, right? So the word suf means like at the end, the finale of the Torah, or the end of the Torah. So anyway, that's what he said. Hold on.
אני ולקט זבוטימה, אני שמה.
המקטע זה קצת שונה מהמקטע שאנחנו רגילים.
So he said amiktav, right? Amiktav means what?
Accent or dialect.
He said amiktav k'tzat shoneh me'katuv me'atorah, right? So he's saying your dialect or your accent is a little different than what's read in the Torah.
מה כתוב פה? מתחיל גם...
פוספסל קימה, איקטר ערף קימה, לאטיקה לפת, שעדק לקטה, ולקט חסירה קרטה
לאני ולקט הזהו שבזה בסוף מהתורה.
לאני ולקט זבוטימה, אני שמה.
המקטע זה...
He says ani shema sounds like shmot. I'm the name shema, or I hear. Ani shema.
קצת שונה מהמקטע שאנחנו רגילים, קראים בעדות המזרח.
זה מה שאנחנו מדברים, זה הערבית.
מה?
He said what you are reading is Arabic, right? I don't know if he's saying Aramaic or Arabic, but he's probably saying that the Hebrew has more of an Arabic dialect than the Samaritans. I actually think it's opposite, but that's what it sounds like he's saying, right?
לאטיקה לפת, שעדק לקטה, ולקט חסירה קרטה
לאני ולקט הזהו שבזה בסוף מהתורה.
לאני ולקט זבוטימה, אני שמה.
המקטע זה קצת שונה מהמקטע שאנחנו רגילים, קראים בעדות המזרח.
זה מה שאנחנו מדברים, זה הערבית.
מה? המקטע...
So I'm not sure if he's saying what that I'm reading is more Arabic or what you're reading. I can't hear because she's talking on top. So he's either saying that what I am reading is more Arabic, meaning the dialect, or he's either saying what you're reading is more Arabic. I can't hear him clearly. Okay?
שומרונית. יותר טוב.
מה שאנחנו מדברים עכשיו.
משהו...
זה התורה. זה הכתב שמשה ירד איתו.
כן, הכתב כן, אבל מה עם המקטע? איך שמבצעים את התוצאות? כן.
אתם אומרים בראשית ברא אלוהים את השם את
כן, נכון.
אנחנו אומרים בראש את ברא אלוהים את השם ואת הארץ.
Why does he keep doing that? So basically he says, let me give you an example. He's not reading exactly here. He said, yes, but what's written, can you read it? I want to hear the accent of you reading it. It's probably Genesis. So he said, let me give you an example. He's reading Genesis, Bereshit bara Elohim, right? And his words sound a little different, but let's hear
המקטע, איך שמבצעים את התוצאות. כן.
אתם אומרים בראשית ברא אלוהים את השם את הארץ.
כן, נכון.
אנחנו אומרים בראש את ברא אלוהים את השם ואת הארץ.
So he's saying Elohim, he says Elohim. Elohim. You can clearly hear the W, right? And they got some other words, muit ha'aretz, muit. I don't know what muit means, but it's different.
אלוהיו את אשרם. ראשית ברא אלוהים את אשרם את
כן,
הארץ.
נכון.
אנחנו אומרים ברש את ברא אלוהיו את אשרם את הארץ. הבנת?
Yahweh mut aretz, right? But Elohim. So that's just to show you that even with the wa sound in the Samaritan dialect that could have more of an Arabic or Aramaic influence, it doesn't even matter. It's still part of the Abjad, right? It's still part of the Shemitic languages, has the W, as I just read all of that stuff and showed you all of the languages that they all have the wa sound. And actually some of them emphasize the wa more than what you call the u or the o, right?
קלטת את זה?
כן. השם האל לא מבטאים?
So he said, what's mevatim? Forbidden? Mevatim. I don't know this word. He said the name is mevatim.
השם האל לא מבטאים? יוד ה' ו' ה'.
Hashema lo mevatim, Bashema lo mevatim. I believe that means mevatim.
Maybe from Matim, suitable.
Is it suitable? Okay. No, I think he's saying forbidden. Mevatim. Hold on.
Tar is forbidden.
Metar. Okay, I'm
ברא אלוהיו את אשרם את הארץ. הבנת? קלטת את זה?
כן. השם האל לא מבטאים? יוד ה' ו' ה'. לא, אף פעם לא מבטאים, אסור. רק השם אומרים, נכון?
מה אסור?
Ma'asur, that's the end of it. So he said mevatim, asur. He said, huh? He acting stupid now. He said, what? Ma'asur. And it cut off. For some reason, whatever happened after that conversation, they cut it off. I found it on YouTube years ago. And basically he was asking him, so the name of El is, he used the word mevatim. So I'm not sure what that means. If it's practical, is it usable? Is it suitable? But in the end, he asked, is it asur? Is it asur? He said, huh? Ma asur. So it is, I believe that they still say it privately amongst themselves, but because they under Jewish Jewry and they are at peace with the rabbinical system and have left them alone. And now that they use the mikvah system, I'm going to prove to you that they under a Jewish law not to say the name, not to reveal what they know, right? They would have to if they knew the name all this time. And they do know the name, right? But I believe that they was told never to denounce it outwardly. That's why he acting stupid right now, right? So moving on. Samaritan version of the name. Theodoret, yes. Theodoret told us that the Samaritans called it Yahweh. They're using the V there as Yahweh, but it's not, or Yahweh. According to our manna of the 4th century era, Sanhedrix X28b, the Samaritans didn't use the ineffable name in their oath. And Theodoret, the church father in the 5th century, tells us that he heard it pronounced by them as Yahweh. It's using B, it's not a B. We just showed you the Latin. It's this, Yahweh, Yahweh, which is the equivalent of Yahweh. Hallelujah. And it's late. Hold on, I'm finishing. I might come back to it. Okay, so give me 5 more minutes. Now this is the Shema. They read the Shema, so I'm going to show you their accent that they overstress the W and not the U, right? They overstress the W. They have a hard ancient accent, right? We're not talking about the American, Germanic accent, Ethiopian accent. Everybody that comes and speak Hebrew sound absolutely different because of their accent, right? Their dialect. But we can recognize some of the Samaritan dialect, but it's not Hebrew, it's a version of Hebrew, right? They're reading the Hebrew in their dialect, which I believe is more Arabic.
شيما يشرائيل شيما إلوين
Sorry.
وشيما آد وإبطاء شيما إلوك أفكل بابك وأفكل نفسك وأفكل ميقودك وأيو أدي بارم إلا إيشر آناكي أمصابك أيو معلي بابك وشنن تما قلبانك ودبر طابما أفشبتك ببت أبلكتك بديرك بشكابك وفقومك وقاشر تمالوت على يدك وايو التطافت بين اينك وكاتب تما المزوزوت بتك وفشارك.
All right, another version, same guy. So he says Adonai. And so now we know that they are under the orders not to say it, but we know that they did say it, right? He's going to say it again. You can hear it better. And those of us that know the Shema, you should be able to recognize it somewhat, right?
Israel Shema. What the meaning Shema?
Understand.
No.
Heal.
No. Shema Israel here. Shema Israel. Shema Adonai. The name. Hashem.
So the fact that he said Adonai, they've been under commission not to reveal it, but it's already been revealed and it's been Yahweh. Okay.
Shema. Yod Hei Vav Hei. Shema. Hashem.
Okay.
Shema Yisrael. Shema Elohim Shemad. وابطاء شيما إلوك أفكن لبابك وافكن نفسك وافكن مئودك ويؤدي بارما إلا إيشر أناك أمسابك أيو معلي بابك شنن تما قلبانك ودبرتا بما أفشبتك ببت أبلكتك بديرك بشكامك وفقومك وقاشر تما لوت على يدك وايو التطافت بين ايدك وكاتب تما المزوزوت بدك وفشارك.
All right. And this is where I leave it with this. I hope you enjoy the song. I really do like the song. It's also in Samaritan dialect, so it has more of an Arabic tone to it. You will hear that she also says Ehyeh Shar Ehyeh, right? She says Elohi Elo. She doesn't say Allahinu. She says Elohinu. Elohinu, right? She doesn't say Ahaya, Asha Ahaya. I know y'all found one European lady that came that just learned Hebrew and said that. And I believe that that was them attempting also to remove you from the Ehyeh, but they realized that was a dud because ain't nobody ever sang it like that ever since, not even her. But the Samaritan dialect, I hope you enjoyed. That's my lesson. I'm coming back. I'm coming back once again. Let me make sure you know what I'm coming for. So I'm coming. I'm gonna still bust the roof off of the scam, and I'm gonna show you that his argument is the dumbest out of all of them, but it's the same argument as everybody. That's how you know that he's a third-hand salesman, right? He served you lemons, man, sour lemons, and so he picked it up. And he's picked it up the same year the Sefer came out, and this looked like it was a race who was going to get the first Yahuah book out to make the money. And everybody's using the same argument. I'm gonna bust him out. We're gonna do the same thing with him. We're gonna go through what he's teaching, and he taught it twice, and then he refers you to Lamajahu. So I'm still dealing with Lamajahu, and I'm gonna continue to deal with him to show that they've been lying to you. And that these dudes are scammers, and this is just about money, right? And I believe that they were sent. Yes, that's what I'm going to deal with next. So I'm gonna leave you with this, Israel. I'm gonna leave you with this, oh remnant. You may not like my delivery. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And with that being said, let me just show you that this ain't no joke, right? This is my lecture on the name. I'm gonna scroll all the way to the top, holy name, all the way from 1, right? I've been giving y'all this in pieces. We already down to 548 pages. Can't see no more. So don't sleep on the word of Yah, right? That sword don't never stop swinging. You think that I just did that when I did the Ehyeh and the Hallelujah and the Ahaya versus the Almighty Power and breaking that. Oh man, y'all ain't even close. I'm not done. And the more y'all come with y'all lies, even through the intellectual means of what y'all has handed down to me as a dummy, right? Not even graduated from high school, GED, right? Just a little artist doing a hustle all over the world, right? Dyslexic in the tongue, can't read right. Yah has given me the mind through his Holy Spirit to show you the mighty things of Yahweh, where they still over here just singing, pressing buttons, talking about, right? Can't put them in the box and put some, right? All this other stuff, right? All they do is pressing buttons and repeating. No, this ain't about no damn song, y'all. This ain't about a book. We got a holy script and it's in Hebrew, and that's where we reading. And we know the name of Yahweh, and we are going to know the name of Yahweh. For to know him is to have that true what? Intercourse with him, to speak to him face to face. And so let the nations prepare for war. Let us, O remnant, prepare to meet our maker face to face, right? To have a pure heart and pure mind. We're not perfect, and that's not an excuse for any sin. We are not here using that as an excuse for ignorance or for sin, right? Perfection is a forever moving out of ignorance and sin. And that's what we're working on right now so we can make it in. Hallelujah. And so on that note, don't sleep on it. I'm gonna fight that battle to the end, because y'all is gonna fight that battle to the end. That seems like that's the main thing he got to prove. At the end of the day, his fame and his name. His fame and his name. So I'm scrolling through. I ain't even begin. And I'm also going to go through that, what's his name? That Ron Howard. He said some foolishness. No, Ron Howard. He's the leader of the awakening. Right? All right. Salamu alaikum. Shalom alaikum. And I'll see you for the next round. But no, this is more. Next time, just put my face on there. Okay. So I'll leave you with this. I hope you enjoy.
אלוהינו לקינא בערב, אלוהינו לקינא הלב, אלוהינו לקינא גדל, אלוהינו לקינא סוער, אלוהינו לקינא كنودي ونشتاق